just trucking right along here. We'll see Darius thinking about going B, but not really actually doing it. It probably won't be the best thing for him to do right now with York right in the middle. We'll be allowing him to push forward pretty easily. And as he knows the fiddlesticks right there, he's able to just immediately capitalize on that and then try and get his ultimate off in tower dive, but does not manage to get it. He does drop the ultimate off plus the extra hemorrhage, but it is not really enough to take him out. And both our champions will be being at the same time. Leave the hold in to other people. On the way back, we saw Yorick actually pick up another sword for all that extra 80 damage, and Darius actually first time beat the whole game about 10 minutes in. Yeah, about 10 minutes in, grabbing his Mercury Treads. Yeah, and an award. Mercury Treads and award. Mercury Treads, pretty much the most solid, well-rounded boot out of the boots of them all. Excuse me. As I try and clear my throat. As they offer just the widest range of benefits from it, plus the magic resist, 45 movement and tenacity, so there's really, you can't go wrong with those. Yeah, if anyone ever grabs it on my team, I'm not really going to complain with them. There are some boots that would work better with someone, such as Ash, better off with boots of swiftness, or Berserker Reef for the AD, or that tracking down ability. But really, Mercury Tread's very solid boots. Tenacity is a very, excuse me, what's wrong with me? I'm just letting it out. But yes, Tenacity is a very well-rounded ability. One you always want to take good control of it. Especially against someone like Yorick, who has his slow. His W will really do a good burst damage and a bit of slow right there, so it's always a good idea to hold off on it. And just be able to get out of that slow earlier. And now we see as we move farther into the mid phase of the laning phase, yes, I'm really going to flip at this. And there we see Darius taking very good control of his combos and his chasing ability. Darius's real power comes from his ability to stack his damage, which increases his own movement speed and damages his opponent over time. So he's really good at chasing one hero down and just pulling them, yanking him down, getting a very successful ult off there, allowing... No, it wasn't the ult I got him, excuse me. But a very successful ult, nonetheless, as it really did bring down his opponent and really hold him down. Managed really just to get that final push down that he needed and allow him to get the kill. His first kill of the game, and I'll tell you right now, not to be his last. This is a very good Darius. Beyonce is very good at what he does. And now we see the similar tactic going on. We see Yorick actually drop his own ultimate there just to push him off after Darius drops his, and he will not actually be able to pick up the kill, and actually will fall a bit behind there when it comes to the damage out. Galio actually now forced him into a corner, and Darius being the only really thing you can do in this situation, whether you are bot, mid, or top, is you want to hide behind your tower. That's really your best option there. And Yorick actually trying to engage there. He knows he had the Galio there just for that backup, but it wasn't actually enough as Galio was being distracted from the time by other champions. So this is the thing. You never really want to engage a Darius under a tower. That's usually a bad idea, as he has enough damage output that and with a tower, it's always, when you engage someone under a tower, never think of it as just one-on-one. Think of it as one-on-two. A tower is another hero that deals a crap ton of damage and is one that you can't stun, you can't slow, and the only way you can stop it is to kill it. And they're pretty hard to kill unless unless it's low. So think of it that way. Think of it as just another champion. It's never a one-on-one under a tower. It's usually a one-on-two or a two-on-two or something like that. That's the way I like to look at it though, and that's the way keeps me remembering about the tower. Especially that nice little beep they added in now, so it lets you know when you're being targeted. That's always nice. But yes, engaging a Darius under a tower, especially in this phase of the game, is never generally a recommended idea. It's pretty bad, as he will be able to just damage you down. Even when he's low, he will do a crap ton of damage to you very fast, especially if his ultimate is off cooldown. And there we saw, it wasn't necessarily bad playing on Yorick's part. It was basically just Jin Xiao was a little slower there, and Darius's control was very well done, as he was able to focus on Yorick despite Jin Xiao's interruptions on him. So very good play from there. You might say Yorick, you're sucking right now. That's not terribly true. Never mind. It's currently 3 kills, 3. No, he's not doing terribly bad. As you see, his items are actually, I find he's spending his money more wisely than Darius right now. Darius going straight for after boots, getting a giant spell and a phage, which is not bad, but when it comes to Yorick, he's had better use of. Oh, excuse me. I'm not paying attention. I actually feel like I just missed something. Yeah, I did, didn't I? I'm gonna have to back up. Excuse my foolishness. I'm gonna back about 1736. And now right where that kill was. Yep. York, as I was saying, his money spend that I find has been a little better. He already he has he hasn't bought his boots yet, but he does have many things ready to build. He has his giant belt plus his excuse me his Galaxy here, which will let him build into his mass immune. It's a very good item there. Also, getting the chainmail, which is also another fantastical item. And but Darius right now is just moving right into his frozen mallet, which leaves him a little ill-advised in options. And now we see right. I'm gonna focus on York right now. As he does move in right into the middle of things and starts dropping his ghost to really force him back, and doesn't really get killed by York there. I mean, doesn't really get by Darius, but is chased back by Yarvin and Khan, his own Cataclysm. So that's really what got him down. As he was brought down pretty low and tried to escape, but the ultimate from Yarvin wasn't enough to hold him down. Darius actually managed to escape there with a double kill. No, just a single kill. Excuse me, just a single kill. But did manage to pick himself up the double buff, the double blue and red buff. Very powerful combo there. Not something you really want to see in the hands of a champion like Darius, who already has 4 kills, especially to the 0 of your own top. That's never good. It's never good. And we also see Darius really pulling ahead in creep score as of right now. He's currently 15 ahead. Up to 15, 14, yeah. So that's really something you really gonna have to take into account for, as it will just begin to stack. Now, thanks to ward placements there, Darius is aware of all the heroes currently right under his nose there. That's one really important thing, just for all champions, is all players, is your map awareness. You really need to be strong in your map awareness. You really need to know what's going on at all times, so you can't really get ganked by that. And we see in response to that, blue team is actually bringing up their own powerful force against them. Who actually jumps in on Yorick there, who's engaging pretty well. He drops his ultimate there and really to hold him down. And there we see Galio dropping his ultimate. Galio's ultimate like that, along with Twitch's, are really things you want your team to be engaging under. And there we actually see the purple team pulling ahead there. As I was saying, ultimate like, excuse me, Galio's, you really want to engage under, as once he drops it, everything is pulled in towards him, which really gives you full strength to get out. And especially as the top, who's really will be main focus is strong damage output like that. It's a very good idea to get right in the middle of that, so you can drop all your abilities. Yorick, you can drop his slow, so it once the other heroes are inside the circle of death, and then you can begin to beat on them from there with your other abilities. There is when it comes to Fiddlesticks, it's a bit harder to engage as you would with a Galio ultimate, since oh, and there we see another problem for York. I'll visit that in a second. I actually want to pause real quick while I finish my thought. Pause. What I was saying, with Fiddlesticks, it's a little bit different, as you don't really have the time. You're really the thing that's dragging them all in. You have the fear from Fiddlesticks if he decides to throw that down. But if he doesn't, then it's all just, you have to hold him in place yourself and hope that they're not focusing you. And when you have someone like Darius, their first focus is going to be probably the mid caster, since they'll be the squishiest. Maybe the support, depending on how they've been playing all that game. And then they'll probably shift to you. You're usually like the 3rd or 4th in line when it comes to that, unless you're already weak. So you really have to take advantage of that when you're a top laner, and you're not going to be the first one targeted. You have to get your damage up pretty fast before they turn to you. And even if you can kill them before they get to you. And then back to what just happened, now that that's all wrapped up, we're going to look at what York just did there. Fiddlesticks and Darius engaged one at a time. Like I said, you should treat your tower like a second person, so it's basically a 2v2 there. Now you might think that's not really a bad position to be in, as a York with a Fiddlestick and a Darius. I basically 2v2. But again, the tower is a very dumb player. He can't be slowed, he can't be stunned, he can only be killed. But all he really does is auto attack. You can't rely on him to do anything but just slowly wither them down. And I mean slowly, unless you drop the garrison. I don't want to say that now. I just say that no, bad idea. Forget said words. Forget said words. Moving back though, when you have someone like Fiddlestick and Darius, especially when it's basically just you dropping abilities, Darius will first, he'll be able to pull you in and immediately deal that X damage to you, even if you're under your tower. He'll still be able to do a lot of damage to you fast. And when you have Fiddlesticks, who's dealing fear, keeping you from dealing your own damage, basically like the tower's the one hurting you, and they'll be able to just like bring you down pretty fast, piece by piece. That's how they'll tear you down. So it's pretty much a bit of situational awareness, realizing who you're fighting and what you're fighting under that tower at that time. Get back into the game now. See that tower Mondrin. At this point, we really see the end of the laning phase. That's pretty much done and over with at this point. As four towers have gone down. Five towers, excuse me. I know how to count. I know how to count. 5,000 total have gone down. So it's really marking the end of the lane phase. It usually happens around 20 minutes in a normal game. If the game was going really poorly in favor of one team, it usually can be over earlier, but generally this is usually the time you'll see it over, and usually where you'll see champions begin to move out more across the map, and it is more roaming going on. Looking down at the current, actually no, I think I was about to go into the abilities, but I think we have a good fight right here. Focusing on Darius right now, we see Yorick immediately trying to engage on him and just him. I was about to say Jin Zhao's on his team. Immediately trying to engage on him, thinking he would have had the upper hand, but when Darius has managed to focus him down with his his apprehend and his decimate plus his crippling strike, it really does bring you down. Again, it's very rare that you want to go one-on-one with a Darius, especially at this point in the game when he's generally going to be ahead, especially when you know he has 7 kills over you and you have 0 kills and 6 deaths. Not a good idea, and you can obviously still hit their creep scores. 26 in favor of Darius, 92 for Yorick there. Not very good. Focusing back now on a small team fight there. Yorick making the best of his being a little selfish with it. We've seen so far, mostly dropping on himself. As a Yorick, you really generally want to be dropping your ulti only on yourself when you're alone or in a small skirmish. Actually, looking back to him now, as you see Darius heading top as well. It's pretty selfish to be dropping mainly on yourself, especially in team fights. You want to be dropping your ultimate on someone in your team, maybe more like Graves, whose auto attack is it's really part of who he is. It's really big part of his damage. Someone like if you have an Ashe on your team or a Caitlyn, they're a really good target for your ultimate. Ultimate. I like that word. Ultimate. Yeah, the same thing really applies with heroes like, what's his name, Mordekaiser, whose passive allows him to create a ghost of whoever he kills. So you're really going to want to focus on getting kills on characters with strong auto attacks, since now you have all that extra damage. Since your ghosts aren't going to use their abilities, that's just not going to happen. So you're really just going to want to focus on heroes with strong auto attacks. We're seeing a bit of a poking back and forth, and as the top, you're really usually going to be the one who's going to want to try and engage on them, depending on your abilities. And Darius has a very good one for that. We actually, Darius taking down Yorick there, right before being taken down by Fizz himself, but he still managed to take down Fizz. That's really the power of Darius's hemorrhage ability. It really allows him to get those extra kills down in death, and the best kind of kills are ones you get in death. What was I saying before? I do that a lot, where I forget what I was saying, because I get on a small tangent onto another thought. I'm sure it'll come to me. Anyway, now we're getting through their weapons, items. Yorick picking up a Massive Mune, which is a very powerful weapon for him, as it allows both attack damage and extra mana, which is something it's a perfect, well-rounded item for Yorick. Always can recommend you grabbing one of those. And we see Darius, along now with finishing his Frozen Mallet, actually grabbing a Maw of Mortis, which gives him some extra lasting ability against AP champions, such as like Fizz, who's been a real pain to him most of the game here. As if he's gonna take you down with that any of his abilities, Darius will immediately just drop a shield automatically